Good morning, friends. So, this morning I thought it's Monday morning, and we had a really nice 2 hour long Zoom call with almost 15 women, and we were just amazing how we were able to connect with people from across different continents. So we had a lot of people from Canada, of course. We had a few from US, and I also had a very close friend from UK in London. Uh, so it was sad to hear what's going on in London, and our prayers go out to her. Even talking to my friends in US was painful, and so all of us together are basically, our aim is to keep connecting. So that's why I don't like the term social distancing. I prefer physical distancing, but we need to be socially connected, because that's how we get to travel outside our own homes and world these days, and gives us a little bit of a perspective. So I thought I will just share a little bit of what happened in the call yesterday, and some insights to just keep that in our mind. So I thought I'll just keep talking to you while I prepare my fruit bowl, about what we were talking about in the call, and some things that we uh, have a lot to discuss, and definitely we will keep on talking about it in future. One of the interesting things that came out was we talked to one of the sisters in the group, and she is a mountain climber, and she's been to so many remote places in the world, that we decided, well, we want to hear from her about her adventures, and her um, take on all this was that when we call those countries developing countries, what she has observed is that those countries are far more developed in how they take care of nature, and how they also know what to do when they get sick. They don't depend on the medical system the way we do in the so-called developed world. So now, hopefully, one of these weeks we will have her show us some pictures, give us some insight into what she has seen happening in those cultures, and maybe we can learn something from them, and have more appreciation for what we have. The other thing that came out in the call was the extreme need for um, ex- uh, being grateful for what we have already today. Sometimes we tend to forget that, and we kind of get into a lot of fear. Then Seher, who is a medical doctor, she spoke at length about what happens in our bodies when we get into a fear mode. So it actually reduces our immunity when we are fearful, because it affects a part of our brain, um, and then starts sending signals to the rest of our body, and affects the immune system. So we need to learn how to manage fear and anxiety. And one of those methods that we are doing it is through connecting with these calls, and making sure that we all are not feeling isolated. So if you are feeling isolated or anxious or fearful, please do connect and reach out to others, connect with our call. And just listening to what's going on in someone else's life is going to be definitely very helpful. Uh, then we did have Lubna from UK, like I said, on the call. She's a psychotherapist, and she said that we were talking about time management and how that becomes stressful when we have the full day at our disposal, but we also have families to feed, and we're making sure that everyone in the family is eating well and getting fresh air. But we're also not used to having them all day, and now suddenly we have them now all day. So she suggested that we start to be kind to ourselves and not be trying to achieve everything. We sometimes end up putting too many things on our list of things to do, and I'm definitely guilty of that. I write down 5 things, but then each of them, their scope starts to increase a lot, or I spend too much time doing one thing. So that was very important. It's important to keep our dreams alive and be hopeful. And build our internal resilience, because right now I mean, of course, we don't have the vaccine, but even when we do have the vaccine, we still want our immunity to be high. And food definitely is an important part of that. If we don't have food that is feeding our immunity, then we can't depend too much on medication all the time. So again, keeping low fat foods, a lot of vegetables and fruits. Deep breathing is important, not just for keeping us calm, but then of course it builds our immunity as well. Then we also talked about the fact that some studies have shown that men are more vulnerable to the virus. But then 70% of the healthcare workforce is women. And so women are feeling the brunt of it a lot, as healthcare workers, and also as in homes. Unfortunately, they're facing some abusive environments. So we need to make sure that the women that we know in our lives are doing well. And it has been shown that there has been a surge in domestic violence against women during the lockdown. So just keep that in mind when you are interacting with other women, and also the women in your life, and you yourself as a woman, to be kind to yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself. Reach out to other women in your life, and just keep eating well. Some important things to always keep doing is include hydration, and lots of fruits and vegetables, whatever you can hang on to. Send prayers to some unfortunate people who are not able to get food. Showing gratitude is very important in these times. So with that, we ended the call, but we definitely, it was over about 2 hours, and we loved it. We will continue to do these calls every Sunday, so do log in if you can. Yes, we did hear from another sister in Toronto who's been told that she can't go outside anymore because people were not keeping social distancing as well in that part of Toronto. So the doctors are advising people to just not get out. So it's really hard if you can't even go out for walks. And we understand people in India living in big cities in apartments, they are in the same situation because going in elevators is probably not going to work very well. So there was a suggestion to come up with some ideas of what you could do while you were stuck in your apartment. One of them was, if you have a balcony, then go out there and jump or do some exercises, deep breathing, whatever you can do. But if you have any ideas on what people can do while stuck in their apartments, on how they can be active, because that is another issue that we spoke about, our youth who are not able to remain as active or in contact with each other. So there's a danger that they're getting very isolated and probably spending too much time on the internet, which we as parents don't know most of the time among teenagers, where they're going and who they're connecting with, and it is a real worry. So next week I do have on call a youth psychologist or a counselor from University of Ottawa, who will be talking to us as parents on how we can help our teenagers stay active, and how can we help be communicating with them more effectively, so that they're motivated and they're not feeling left out. Because generally among the boys, they tend not to talk as much about their emotions, and they do have a lot of distractions these days. They can get into video games a lot, and just to numb themselves out, or go to a lot of YouTubes and things like that. And I, as a mother, I know that I do feel start to get anxious and disconnected with my teenager, and I try to talk to him, but of course there's so many distractions. So it is a challenge to keep our teenagers involved in the family. So if you have any ideas, please share in the comments. Subscribe to this channel so we can keep the conversation going. And thank you so much for watching.